just over $500,000 versus barely $300,000.
I mean, that's the most experience that I have is from college, obviously coming in here as a rookie and this being my first playoff. So at the same time, I'm just trying to learn it and go with it. But, you know, I feel like I've been in a lot of high pressure, intense games, and that's what the playoffs is. So
I don't know if they've ever had a rookie so confident coming in, being able to be super vocal, being able to just step up for them and be there for them. So I try to be whatever I can for this team. And I know my mentality every day coming into practice is going to be helpful.
Even though you're a rookie?
Even though I'm a rookie.
You feel comfortable
yeah,
in that role, being vocal?
I feel super comfortable.
Same league, same moment, completely different value. So why is Caitlin Clark already being paid like a franchise player, while Angel Reese is still fighting to prove she belongs in that same tier? Because this isn't just about contracts. This is about how the WNBA is quietly deciding who its future really is.
I can't even imagine how many NIL deals I've done.
What are we talking money-wise?
Life-changing numbers.
The new WNBA agreement didn't just increase salaries, it changed how players are valued. For the first time, performance, impact, and recognition are directly tied to how much a player earns early in their career. And when those numbers came out, fans didn't just react. They started asking questions.
They're great for developmental and for keeping them in shape, you know, in the off season. And especially with Unrivaled, I feel like they kind of paved the way to show how women's sports can be if you pour in the proper equity, investment, and everything. I mean, it would be an interesting concept because I know like Caitlin Clark, she didn't play in Unrivaled or Project B, and for so many different reasons, but also salary has to be one of them because she does make so much money in endorsements. So it does raise a very interesting question. But I feel like, at least with Unrivaled, I think that the players really love playing in Unrivaled because they also have equity in the league. And so they want to see it succeed because the money just keeps flowing in and they have great synergy on the court. And I don't know, but it would be interesting to see maybe 10 years down the road, like where these other leagues come in.
The gap between Clark and Reese isn't random. It's calculated. It's based on a system that rewards production, efficiency, and recognition. And right now, one player is checking every single box.
Did we get to this point, and was there ever any sketchy moments where you thought maybe there would be a work stoppage for the WNBA?
Well, it's interesting, you know, Pat, CBAs tend to get done at the 11th hour. And I mean, I think this one was a function of how important and meaningful it was, not just for the WNBA and women's basketball, but maybe all women's sports. So there was so much past passion and the players were amazing through it. And it was just a testament on how invested everyone is. We needed to get it right. I mean, when you're looking at this long-term labor piece, 7 years, the process was definitely not linear. And, you know, you have to do a lot of listening, reacting, responding. And in some cases, you're totally pivoting from what you thought when you went into a bargaining session, but you're just trying to get it right for players, team owners, fans, the business. You know, we want to set that all up for success. And that's why I think everybody thought this was so unusual. I think, like, again, because the WNBA has grown so much, I think it was now we're arrived as a major sports property, and it was probably a little more usual, but obviously everybody likes to get things done sooner rather than later in this environment. But, you know, we had to get it right, number one.
MVP of the tournament, Miss Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark didn't enter the league quietly. She came in with expectations, pressure, and attention that women's basketball had never seen before. And instead of shrinking under that spotlight, she elevated. She didn't just score. She controlled games. She created opportunities for everyone around her. She forced defenses to change, to adapt, to panic. And when the season ended, the league didn't just recognize her. They rewarded her.
I think that's probably where people struggle to understand at times is there is a huge difference than me standing there and shooting spot shots and running up and down. But in a basketball game, like, I'm not thinking like, oh, I'm planting here, oh, I'm cutting, oh, I'm doing this, oh, I'm doing that. Like, you're just doing it. So your muscles need to be able to react and withstand that type of stuff. So that's where the 5-on-5 becomes really critical. And then obviously the contact piece of it too. Like, you don't know where you're going to be taking contact from, but you know.
But here's where things get interesting, because Angel Reese's journey looks very different. Angel Reese brings something that doesn't always show up cleanly in numbers: energy, physicality, relentless effort. She dominates the boards. She fights for every possession. She brings emotion into every game she plays. And that matters. That absolutely matters. But in today's game, Effort alone isn't enough.
I know that you've been pretty vocal about CBA negotiations and things that you guys are fighting for. What do you think is the most important thing now that you guys have met with the league and moving forward?
Yeah, yesterday was my first meeting in person, and being able to have the opportunity to sit face to face with the league. I think it was very important to have all those players there, more than 40, and just being able to see our faces, because we are about business. It's bigger than me. No player is less important than me or more important than me. We are all here to fight for the same thing and what we deserve. This basketball and WNBA is all I know. And this is the league I love so much. And we're not going to stop until we get exactly what we want. And yesterday's meeting really woke me up to the eyes of we aren't getting what we deserve. And knowing that for a long time, and knowing over the past years the numbers that they were giving us, I'm like, wow, like I didn't know all this stuff. And now being able to be informed, knowing that I can be more vocal, because I do know more, and being able to have Neka as our president and have so many great players that have representation that know a lot and know what we deserve is just really important. So I'm really happy to be a part of that meeting yesterday, but it did wake me up to a lot of things that I didn't know that was going on.
The modern game values efficiency. It values spacing. It values decision-making under pressure. And that's where the gap begins to show. Because while Reese impacts the game physically, Clark impacts the entire system. She changes how teams defend. She changes how teammates perform. She changes outcomes.
I think if my younger self saw the place I'm at right now, would be pretty amazed. I don't think this is ever something you can fully dream and comprehend. When I was a young girl, I wrote down that I wanted a basketball scholarship. I want to be in the WNBA. Being where I am now, I would tell my younger self is like, you worked hard for this moment. You earned this moment. It was never given to you. And I think that's the same advice I would give to young girls too, is just, dream big. Don't let anybody tell you can't, but you got to go out there and earn it.
Here's Clark. She fires and goes! She hit it!
Across the timeline.
A deep three is good! A 40-point semifinal for Caitlin Clark.
And that's a hard reality. Because when numbers turn into contracts, it's no longer opinion. It's judgment. And then you step off the court, and the gap gets even bigger. Because brands aren't just looking for talent. They're looking for consistency. They're looking for trust. They're looking for someone they can build around for years. And right now, that player is Caitlin Clark. Her name moves tickets. It boosts ratings. It sells products. And that's why companies are investing at a level we've never seen before in women's basketball. But that doesn't mean Angel Reese is out of the picture. Not even close. She's still one of the most talked about players in the league. She still has a massive fan base. She still has time. But time alone doesn't change perception. Performance does. And that's where this story becomes bigger than just two players. Because this isn't Clark versus Reese. This is a preview of where the WNBA is heading. A league driven by impact, by visibility, by players who don't just perform, but transform the game. So the real question isn't who deserves more money right now. The real question is, who is going to take over next? And if you want to stay ahead of every shift, every story, and every moment shaping the future of women's basketball, stay locked in with WNBA Shorts. Because this is only the beginning.
We're just going to keep sending these possessions to the league and these plays, and hopefully they'll start, taking a better look at some of the things that we see happening or we think is happening. Just more happy that Caitlin handled it the way she did. She, it's tough, to keep getting hammered the way she does and to not get rewarded with free throws or, just a foul call. Like she's continuing to fight through that. And that's what, appreciate that from her. Really, really proud of her for doing that.